know why we don't think that way, but if you have 10 colonies and 5 died and 5 live, graft queens out of the 5 that made it through winter. Hey guys, what's up? David Burns with you again. I'm out here playing with bees. Look at that. Feeding some more pollen powder like I've been doing, and today they're going at it again. Hey, stay tuned for my video all the way through because I'm gonna tell you how you can win one of my ultimate online beekeeping courses, and I want you to get that. Hey, look at this. This is a cool little device. I'm gonna tell you guys how it's really been helpful for me as a beekeeper. It is a camera, a video camera, and it zooms in 1,000 times, I think. Yeah, 1,000 times. We're gonna grab a bee out there today, and I'm gonna try to capture one, not kill it, but capture one that has gathered up some pollen. I'll just kind of refrigerate her to get her to be still for a few minutes, and then we'll use this to look at that pollen basket. That'd be fun. And look at this. You guys have asked me a ton of questions, and I want to give you some answers. So let's go out there now and grab a bee, and let's start filming the pollen basket, see what it looks like full of pollen. I'm gonna have to find them. I'm trying to put them in this queen cage, and I'm gonna try to do it without getting stung. Oh, that was a good one, but she got away. Here's one. Okay, let's put her in there. Don't want to hurt them. There we go. I got one. Oh, some landed on my finger, but their pollen baskets aren't full as I want them, so move along. All right, I got one here. See if I can get her in here. Get one in there without losing the other one. Okay, I got both of them in there. All right, let's stick them in the refrigerator here. See if we can get them cooled down. Check back in 20 minutes. All right, we got the bees out of the refrigerator, and hopefully, they're still moving a little bit, but that's a problem. As soon as I take them out of the refrigerator, they start to warm up, and again, this doesn't hurt bees. All right, I got the 2 out. Let's take a look. Oh, look at her little tarsi over there, a little claw foot, the tarsi. That's so cool. Now, I'm not zoomed in as much as I could. Now let's look at the other one over here. Oh yeah, look at that pollen basket. See how it has a little bit of wetness? They've added some saliva, maybe a little bit of nectar if they had it in their honey crop. Now let's just look at the bee while we're here. Probably a little moisture on it from being refrigerated, but look at the pollen grains on its hairs. Here's the thorax. Pollen grains even get on the compound eyes. Look at that. So here I can take a look at the wing. Isn't that unbelievable? Wow. Just look at the entire wing. And if you want to zoom in on the wing, what's this? Just click a little button, go in 1.2 times. Wow, look at that. 1.6, 1.8. Right now, at the filming of this, it's available on Amazon for only $33. And it is insane. And what kind of quality and all the settings you can do for just a little over 30 bucks? That's crazy. I'll leave a link in the description below where you can get these. In my last video, I asked you guys if it's fair that some packaged bee producers or people that sell nukes, we do that. And is it fair for people to say, I don't want to sell any of my packages or my bees to people who haven't taken a class? And a lot of you left responses, and I thought they were really good responses. One of them that I want to highlight is from Stephanie Warren. She left a comment where she says, it's hard to answer that question because what if the class you take is garbage? That's a good point. I have known some people, they might be doing a great job, but they start teaching a class right after they become a brand new beekeeper. And that might be doable, but it probably for most of us, we think experience would go better to teach a class if you had years of experience. But let me go on. I've learned a lot through researching and doing. I can only imagine that a class teaches the basics. The basics are easy to access. Then you figure it out based on your scenario. Too many variables for me to think a class would make me a better beekeeper rather than just doing it. Also, it shouldn't make anyone excluded from trying it. Just because someone may not be able to afford a class doesn't mean they would be garbage beekeepers. I think that's a very good point, Stephanie. I like what you're saying. And it's fair to say that sometimes we do just have to jump in there. So I would say for me personally, if a class is an option and I could afford it, anything that I could walk away with that would help me in discovering how to be a better beekeeper would be well worth it. That's what I meant by I think we should invest in ourselves. Another comment from Joseph, he said, how would the seller know if someone didn't take a class? Do you get a certificate in certain areas? I didn't. Good point too. A lot of classes that you may take don't give certificates. There's no evidence that you took the class. And some municipalities, require that you take a beekeeping class to keep bees in town or something. Like the classes we offer, you can submit your worksheets back to us, and I have a teacher actually grade them. And then if you show that you've worked hard to take that class, you put the time in, and you completed the worksheets, then yeah, we will give you a certificate. You could show that to whoever is wanting to see it. Roy says, what would be the best honeybee species or the strongest to get for a colder climate, or would you recommend one? That's a good question. It's cold. This is the middle of our winter. All my bees are flying today, and this is kind of rare to be this nice. But Roy, I would say probably the best, it's really hard to say with bees because haploid, diploid, you don't always have a bee that, like you would animals like dogs and cows and horses. Haploid, diploid genetics are kind of tough. Right now a lot of people are working on making better bees, certainly. But for the most part, most of us would say a darker bee, if that means anything, because they can be any color really, but darker bees are better in colder climates. So you think of more like your carniolans might be better. But there again, how do you know you're getting a carniolan? Just because it's dark. It could be a dark Italian. So it's better to go not so much by the type of bees or what some people may call a race of bees. It's better, I think, to go by the track record or the characteristics of the bee, of the queen that you want. So in other words, if you're buying bees from somebody and they're overwintering well for you, then those are the bees you should be grafting out of. Those hives that survive winter. See how, I don't know why we don't think that way, but if you have 10 colonies and 5 died and 5 live, graft queens out of the 5 that made it through winter. Wow, we should all become queen producers. I think that's so awesome. Valdemir says, I have 3 hives and plan to raise queens in these hives and to sell the remaining queens. What can I do with excess bees if I cannot sell them all? I guess Valdemir means if he can't sell all the queens. I'm glad you guys are getting interested in queens. I've been really trying to encourage you and promote queen rearing for individuals. Yeah, Valdemir, if you get some extra queens that you can't sell, put them on Facebook, put them on Craigslist. Find an avenue where you can let people know you have extra queens for sale, because everybody needs queens. We can't produce enough queens to meet the demand. It's amazing, isn't it? And so just put your feelers out there, put some posters up in, farm stores or something. Let people know you're selling queens. Give them your number, and you'll get rid of every one of those queens that you can make. Another queen rearing question from Wolfgang says, what do you do with the nurse bees once you made 1 or 2 batches of queens? Can I put them back in the hive where they came from, or do I make a mating nook with them? Love your shows, great work. Yeah, Wolfgang, that's a good question. What I do is I turn it into a mating nook and leave a queen cell in there. But if it's at the end of the year, you can dump the nurse bees back into hives. So you hit on it. Those 2 things are very much what I do. I'll either make a mating nook and leave 1 queen cell in them to raise that queen out, and or I can put those nurse bees back into the hive where I got them out of. You can certainly do that. Francis says, I missed the chat and I do have a question, hoping you will answer it. Can you take a production hive, put the queen in the bottom with the queen excluder between the boxes, and the grafts in the top and let one production hive do it all. Thanks, enjoyed watching your video. Hope you do more. Well, thank you. Yeah, we did a live stream. I talked a little bit about in my last live stream on Thursday night about queen rearing, and I hope that more of you will watch this coming Thursday as well. You can certainly raise queens out of one colony. Way too much to get into here on this video, but maybe I'll do a future video on how you could do that. For me, it's a little more work to do it that way. You have to do it a little different than you mentioned, because if you do it the way you're mentioning, Francis, it's not going to work. You're trying to raise a queen in a hive that's already queen right. Even with the queen excluder, they don't want to start them. That's why you have to use a starter hive that's queenless. They will start them, but they won't finish them. So you have to put them in the finishing hive. Keep watching my video. I'm going to tell you how you can win my ultimate beekeeping course in just a minute, so stay tuned. Simply Self-Sufficient says, when is a good time in the spring to start raising queens? Wow, you guys have a lot of queen questions. I'm so glad. That really encourages me. That pumps me up. That gets me really excited because we need more people to start raising queens. Oh, this is huge. So when is a good time in the spring to start raising queens? There's ways to do it that's kind of like really detailed. You can look into your hive like now to see if they start raising drones, and then you can plan ahead. I don't like to do that. Here's why. Sometimes if you start too early, your queens may not have the best of mating flights. They may not have the most drones out there. Here's how I do it. This is real simple. I wait until my colonies get to the point in the year where they want to raise their own queens, like either swarm, when bees start swarming in Illinois, around May the 1st. It's so easy to raise queens then. So I wait and start raising queens when my bees are raising queens naturally. Gretchen says, awesome video. Where did you get the mini hive? What a fun depiction. Yeah, Gretchen, all of you are asking me about this little mini hive that I'm using in my videos on my table. And Brian at Castle Hives gave that to me at Hive Life. He actually makes them, I think, on 3D printers. And I'll leave a link right here. See the link? So just go ahead and swamp Brian and make his house noisy with all these 3D printers grinding out these little mini hives. They're so beautiful, and they're great if you want to take them to like a school or a kid's class or something and teach about beekeeping. Really fun to look at. I love them. Here's a question from Putty Putt. What is your recommended paint to paint hives? Yeah, you know, a lot of people paint hives with just regular outdoor exterior paint. That's what I use. I have tried indoor paint before when I was cheap and I tried to save some money. Oh gosh, that really turned out bad. All the paint after maybe a year just peeled off. I mean, it just literally, you could peel it off. So indoor paint on an outdoor hive isn't going to work well. So get some good exterior latex paint. I've always heard it's not good to use oil-based paint because it seals off the wood too completely and the wood can rot on the inside. Never paint the inside of a hive, only the outside. Billy Bob says, David, what pollen substitute are you using to feed your bees out there? I use Ultra Bee. Right now, that's just what I've used. I use a lot of them through the years, but right now, they buy me these big bulk bags of this stuff, and I'll leave a link in the description where you can get this. And as you can see, my bees love it. Well guys, as you can see, I have a real love and passion for honeybees. Hey, I'd like to help you guys out today and offer a giveaway of my ultimate beekeeping course. It includes all seven of my online beekeeping classes. So all you have to do is subscribe and leave a comment below, and we'll pick one lucky winner. Hey, if you're starting beekeeping in 2023, I hope you'll watch my beekeeping video on how to start beekeeping. Here it is. Check it out. I'll see you over there.